But now the Gauteng Education's online registration for grade 1s and 8s got off to a very busy start last week with more than 350,000 learners registered by the end of the first day on Friday, while the call center peaked at 1,700 calls an hour from inquiring parents. Despite some teething problems and some recurring challenges, the department's registered some 150,000 grade 1 applications and nearly 200,000 for grade 8. Joining us now to give us an update on the registration process is Gauteng Education Spokesperson Steve Mabona. Steve, good evening. Good to have you with us tonight here on In Focus. When you look at those numbers and previous intakes and how people responded, 350,000 grade 1s and 8s on the first day, and you're looking at about 1,700 calls per hour related to the online registration. Are those numbers showing that you're moving in the right direction and that the kinks in the system are getting better?
Good evening, Tabo, and to all our viewers. Yes, indeed. The number of callers actually have decreased. We are talking now just less than 350 calls per hour that we received up to so far. So it's an indication that parents are navigating easily in the system. We are actually cruising now because as we have actually checked the numbers, we have recorded over 400,000 applications since we released the stats that you just read. So just about 198,000 will be grade 1 and just over 200,000 it's grade 8 applications that are successfully processed, which we can monitor in our system. So we just want to call upon those parents that have not applied as yet to apply, because we are closing on the 19th of August. So we want, when we start with the process of placement on the 3rd of October, all parents should be in the system. We're trying to avoid a situation whereby we must then accommodate those parents that will be coming late in January.
Are those 400,000 purely on the online platform? You've also announced that there are 50 walk-in centers for those who are unable to actually get on via their phones or any other platform. How many are you seeing walking in?
Well, on the first day, the number was high, but we see now numbers are decreasing steadily. So it's an indication that most of applicants probably would have reached us, but we know that when you look at the numbers, we still probably, when you look at the numbers, we're still 100,000 lesser in terms of what we look at. I'm talking now about applicants, because we might look at applications and say there are 400,000, but when you drill down the numbers, you will see that the number of applicants, they are sitting at around 200,000. So it's an indication that we are still short of over 100,000, because remember, in the previous cycle, we placed over 300,000 in our schools. So, and you'll understand that every year there's an increment of some sort that we experience. So we just want to call upon parents to apply and make sure that when we close on the 19th, all of them will be in the system. And what we want to encourage them as well is to upload documents, because without documents, we will not be in a position to place.
Yeah.
And they will find themselves being attended at a later stage. So to avoid that, they need to upload documents. If they can't upload, they can submit documents to all schools that they would have applied to.
Right. I'm sure you know the general complaints. You've seen all the screen grabs. They've been sent to you. They've been tweeted to you. And you know what the questions are. But let's just go through them. Most of them, I see they are complaining around the fact that no schools are appearing on the tab after they have entered, for example, their address. Others are saying I'm in an informal settlement, and when I enter that, it is not listed. Or I'm within a kilometer radius of 3 high schools, but when I enter my address, none of those high schools show up in the system. What do those parents do?
No, those screen grabs are probably they were sent on the first day. Remember on the first day what happened a few 10 minutes after opening. Google Maps, they kicked us out of the system because we surpassed the number that we've agreed upon with them to say we'll be at 6,000. But we then surpassed that number. They kicked us out. We had to go back to them and say, increase it to 20,000. So that was increased. So that was the 10 minutes which we encountered lack of availability or accessibility of schools because we rely on Google Maps. Then all of them, including those that will be in the informal settlement, would not be in a position to access. But now, even if you are in an informal settlement, you apply with the location because the system will then dictate to say, if there's no home address, you will then say, I don't have it, and the system will prompt you to click the location where you're at, and the application will then continue with that. So in terms of the proof, then you then have to have a letter of some sort from the councillor to say, yes, I reside in this area, but that will process during the verification process. So all schools, as long as you put your address, you should be in a position to access schools.
Yeah. And
when you put the work address as well, you should be in a position to see schools. When you go within 30-kilometer radius, you should see schools, and beyond, you should be in a position to see schools. Because remember now, we've updated the system that we're not going to make school to disappear. Even if the school has received quite a sizable number of applicants, the school will still remain there. People will be in a position to apply to schools that they really want to apply to.
Right. Quick one as well that came out is the OTP number of people who've engaged with the system before and maybe have given a particular cell phone number and now it has changed. Others are saying when I come in, I enter the new cell phone number, it says enter an OTP, and they're assuming it probably would have been sent to a different number.
No. You start afresh. When you interact with our system now, for 2023, you start afresh. You can't use the old information because it will prompt you to register. Once you register, then you will then give us your details. You have an opportunity to create a new password and verify it. And the next time you log in, you will use your ID and your password. So you can't be stuck, in the old number. Then you will be in a position to put a new number that you have now. Any interaction you have in our system, it will direct you to the OTP. If you want to delete an application, it will allow you to delete, but it will ask you to say, are you sure that you want to delete? Then OTP will be coming to you. So gone are the days where a parent will say, no, I made a mistake. I didn't want to. Because when you delete it, it will ask you, are you sure you want to delete? But even if you want to return the application, you can click and return it, and it will also ask you, okay, are you sure you want to return the application? So we have learned and we have improved so much so that we try to alleviate challenges between ourselves, officials, and the parents.
Steve, I appreciate that update. Thank you so much for coming on. That closing date again, the 19th of August, and a call from the Department of Education in Gauteng for those 100,000 or so that still remain to get in before it's late, so that your processes can be assessed and approved within the allocated time limit.